Chef Benne.
Hey guys, this is Chef Benne in the Kidney Cafe, and you know what I'm about to say, right? Of course, and that is I am glad to be in your homes, your workplace, and wherever you watch the Kidney Cafe at. Now, remember what we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. We've been talking about squash. And because this is the Kidney Cafe, today you see this great big old thing here. What is this? If you remember, let's say it together, spaghetti squash, right? Okay, and why is Wing looking at me crazy, everybody, the videographer? Because he knows what squash is. All right, everybody. Now, this is a versatile type of vegetable because what we're going to use is exactly how we call it, spaghetti squash. What we're going to do is we're going to use this as our spaghetti and meatballs today. So it's a good alternative to pasta. But not only that, it's very good in vitamin A, very good in magnesium, very good in vitamin C. So it's really important. Now, when we talk about squash, we said that there's summer squash and there's winter squash. Now, this happens to be a winter squash, but however, we talked about the kidney-friendly squash. What did we say that was? Remember, we said that was the zucchini, that was the yellow crookneck squash, and the spaghetti squash. So today, we're going to do that. So listen, let me just talk to you before we get busy. What's going to happen is when you cook something like this, you want to put the oven on 350. We want to put it on 350 degrees. Also, you got to remember that we normally roast the squash. And what would normally happen is what I like to do is I like to put water in my pan. And the reason why I like to put water in the bottom of the pan is for the steam to help make the squash cook a little faster. And also it gives it a little extra moist ability to it. So that's why I like doing that. Now, because it's a hard cover, it's a hard coating, it's going to take a minute to kind of open it up. So I kind of cheated a little bit by putting a little knife in here until Ashley got all in my business. You know Ashley, the producer, she got in my business about why do I have a knife in here, because now you see why I did it, because of how hard it is for me to cut it. So, and I wanted to do it live because I wanted you to see how hard it is so you can get yourself together when it comes to having your squash. So, what's happened is that when we talk about the spaghetti squash, and I want you to see what's going on here, what we're going to do is, like we said, we did the oven for 350. We're going to clean out all of the insides of the squash. We're going to clean that out because now some people actually cook with all of this gook and membrane and all this stuff in it. No. Chef and they not doing none of that because I don't want to have to work harder afterwards to try to pick out all of the insides when the squash is already done. So we don't want to do any of that, okay? So you want to take out all of that. Some people even roast the seeds in here and use it as a snack. So remember what we talk about, guys, on the Kidney Cafe. We talk about doing things that is going to be convenient for you, that's going to be healthy for you, and different options, okay? Now, I know a lot of folk, especially in my community, you know, they look at squash like, I don't want, no. You have to remember, open up your horizon. Now that you have kidney disease or because we don't want you to have kidney disease, you want to try different things. Now, one of my ladies who follow me, she used every recipe, Nadora Stewart, shout out to you, Nadora. Her father has kidney failure, and she used all Cial and all Chef Benne recipes, and she sent me back a beautiful letter telling me how her father said that he loved his new diet because it's not as bland. Why? Because Chef Benne want to make sure that you eat and that you eat well. You know my story. I've said it 100 times about me being a big boy and love to eat all the time. So because of that, what I want to do is I want to make those kind of meals for you that you can really enjoy, and those meals that have that great taste to it. And I think that's important for you to understand, because this is the thing, guys. Just because we have kidney failure, and just because some of you want to do healthier options, does it have to be boring? if anyone know me, know I like to have fun all the time, and especially doing what I enjoy doing, and that is being in the kitchen cooking. So what I did was, we talked about the squash, and I have my squash here. You turn it upside down. Now sometimes I may use a little butter and all of that prior to, but I like to wait for this particular squash, and I do it afterwards, okay? So what's going to happen is that I'm going to put this in the oven soon, but let me talk to you just a little bit more. Now, what I want you to remember when you tune into the Kidney Cafe is the Kidney Cafe comes to you every week to give you different lifestyle choices, different options. I want you to be healthy. But guess what? I want you to enjoy your food also. Stop walking by things in the aisle that you don't know, in the grocery store aisle that you don't know. Snap a little picture of it. Come home, talk to people, ask someone in the produce department, what is this and what is that? Especially if you watch me every so often. If you watch me on a weekly basis, I try to introduce you to all kind of new things. Why? Because I want to make sure that you are healthy and you're looking good and you're tasting good food and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to put this, there we go. This is what happens sometimes when you get your pan from the dollar store, okay? No shade, everybody. But anyway, so we put that in the oven. We're going to clean it up during break, and what's going to happen is that we got our spaghetti on. It's going to go on for 40 minutes. So let's put that timer on. Well, you know what I'm like to do? This is what I like to do, guys. I like to start off with 33 minutes. And then I check it. And if I feel like you need to do a little more, but let me tell you what I did the last time I made it. I put it on 33 minutes, and then I cut the oven off, and I kept it sitting in there for 7 more minutes to make it 40 minutes, because I want my spaghetti to have a certain texture to it, okay? Because again, we're giving the illusion of pasta, right? Okay, so now we have our wok here, because what we want to do is we want to go ahead and get our meatballs ready. So today what we're doing is we're doing our Beyond Beef meatballs. And many people know the Beyond Beef is various plants that make the meat. And it's a substitute. It's a plant-based substitute to real meat, but it tastes absolutely amazing. We know that we have to use our olive oil, which is a superfood. Olive oil is very good for you. And guess what? Ever since I started cooking professionally, I don't use anything else, guys, for real. Let me tell you why. I use olive oil the majority of the time. I have some vegan butter that I like. It's a brand that I like because it has the sticks to it. So it gives me the great idea of just using regular butter, even though it's vegan butter. And then, you know, I usually fry with my grapeseed oil because that's usually on high heat. I usually fry with that, and I have all kinds of oil, sunflower, all of that, but my go-to is my olive oil, okay? So what I'm gonna do is, and I have some really good Victoria vegan vodka sauce that I wanna use. It's dairy-free, it's kosher, it's gluten-free, and it's non-GMO verified. So it's just important because, listen, you gotta have some fun, baby. Okay, now I'm not telling you to kick it up, put no real vodka in there, because Wing wants some real vodka. I saw him, the spirit told me he want real vodka, but we're not going to do that. But guess what? Also, just a little sidebar. I normally keep these because this is so sturdy, and you know, my Chef Benne, aka C. Allen, I make products, and I usually use this to make little sample of my soaps that we can give out to people. Okay, all right. So you see, it's already moving now. What I mean by moving is it's already ready to go because it want to go into my mouth. So what I normally like to do is put it in the wok and let that simmer. Then I come back with my Chef Benne seasonings. I talk about Chef Benne seasonings every week because it's going to come out during the holidays along with the cookbook. The Chef Benne seasonings, I took my time to make sure, well, one, I'm growing my own seasonings. So upstairs, I have my thyme growing. You can, maybe one day we'll send Wing up there to show you that. My thyme, my parsley, my oregano, all of that is, I'm actually growing that myself in my little garden. However, with the Chef Benne seasonings, it's not a lot of salt. What are the 4 things that we normally talk about? I'm not going to bore you to death. We talk about sodium. We talk about phosphorus, we talk about protein, and we talk about potassium. Now, what's important is when it comes to the spaghetti squash, you got to remember that it is lower in potassium and in phosphorus opposed to the other squash. However, you still want to make sure that you limit your amount, okay? Because it still have a lot in there, but it's lower than the other squash, okay? All right, so what I normally do, guys, is I normally like to let this simmer. It doesn't take long for Beyond Beef to cook. For those of you who are Beyond Beef fans, it doesn't take a lot of time for Beyond Beef to cook. But what I like to do is I like to make sure that I have a really good texture. You know what I mean by that? You know, I want to taste like I'm eating meat. So what I like to do is when it comes to the Beyond Beef, a lot of times I like to turn the fire up when I'm sauteing it. But then once I put the vodka sauce in there, I normally turn the fire down so it can simmer more, okay? So I'm excited, guys, because today I have a guest chef that's gonna come in on the second half of the Kidney Kafe today. And I'm just really excited. She's a graduate of the award-winning Benne Career Institute. And she's a hard worker. And what I really like about her, so many of you have asked me about doing meal prepping. And right now, you know, as I'm in my own kitchen, I don't really have the space to do meal prepping. We barely have the space to do the show. But we believe, you know, we're in negotiation with so many different networks, but we believe that we're going to be in a larger kitchen, and then maybe we'll do that then. But now we have Melissa is going to come on, and she's local in the DMV, and she also does meal prepping. So we want to make sure that Ashley and Wing have her information so we can be able to share that with you guys. So in the event that you guys would like some meal prepping, her food is amazing. Why do you think we have her here on the show? Now, one thing I'm gonna get on her about is I know her as a baker, and guess what? She didn't bring no baking goods. So she's gonna get it for that, because you know Chef Benne like to go off, and she's going to get it. But until then, we're gonna keep busy with our meatballs and our spaghetti. All right. So this is what we're going to do, guys. We're going to go ahead and let this cook up. And what I normally like to do with the Beyond Beef on high, I normally like to do about maybe 7 to 10 minutes with the Beyond Beef, because again, it's about texture. And I want to bite into that meatball as if I have some real ground beef. And I'm going to tell you something. There's nothing wrong with lean ground beef. It's just that on the Kidney Kafe, I like to show you different options. But guess what? Let's say you're listening to me and you are a beef lover. Let's say you're listening to me and you're the kind of person that you can't give up your red meat. No problem. You use real ground beef. But for the purpose of the Kidney Kafe, what we do is we use substitutes, okay? Doesn't that look good, guys? That looks really good. It's time for me to add my sauce to it, but no, I don't want to do that. I want it to get just a little harder. Now, what about those of you who kind of like, I'm not going to say burnt, but kind of like sometimes overly done meat? I'm one of those persons. I wonder if someone can tell me, why am I a well done kind of a guy? Well, let me tell you. 2 years ago, I had a kidney transplant. The first thing that the dietitian said to me was, all of my food from now on must be well done. I can no longer do medium rare, medium well, rare, all that kind of stuff. It has to be well done, because we got to make sure that we cook the food really good, so we can make sure that we take out all of everything from the, I'm not going to necessarily say toxins, but just making sure that there's no bacteria or anything like that left. So we want to make sure that the food is cooked really well. And you see how these meatballs are. The meatballs, I don't want them black, dark like myself, because, you know, I love being dark. Praise the Lord. You know, even though I'm around a whole lot of folk that's not dark, but it's all right. But I love being dark. However, you see how that's taking on this texture? Look at this one here. You see that texture taking on? I think it's amazing. So this is what we're going to do, guys. What we're going to do is we're going to turn down the fire first, and then we're going to add our Victoria vegan vodka sauce. Why? Because we want to kick. Oh, yes, indeed. We want to kick. We want to kick. And you see what I did? I kind of lightly put it in there. Why? Because what we do not want is we do not want splashes all over the place, okay? Yes, yes indeed, yes indeed, yes indeed. This is what we're talking about. Look how good this looks. Another thing that's important, okay, because it's starting to splash, and you know I got on white today. Another thing that's important is to make sure that we have some great color in our food. You know, I'm not going to talk about those folk who are kind of lazy when it comes to cooking. I'm not talking about those folk who don't want to add color and their food is all bland, because a lot of times they bland, so the food is bland. So we're not going to do none of that. I'm not going to talk about nobody and get on nobody today. But Chef Benne loves color. So this is what we're going to do, guys. Now that we turned the fire down and this is simmering, we're going to go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, we're going to bring out our spaghetti squash. We're going to drape it in our meatballs, in our Victoria vegan vodka sauce. And then we're going to get ready to eat so we can bring on what? Our guest chef for the day. So this is Chef Benne in the Kidney Kafe. I want you to sit back and relax, because when we come back, we're going to finish up our meal, and then we're going to taste it and then show you the final product. We'll be right back, guys. Hey guys, we're back here for the finished look. We want to just add just a little bit of, now what I like to do, guys, is add a little vegan butter to this. But look how pretty that looks. This is Chef Benne seasons, baby. So we added the little seasons on top, you know, just to give you a little extra, but you know we had already put it on the meatballs, okay? Normally what I like to do is have Ashley to come and plate it. But you all seen some great looking dishes already from the Kidney Kafe, and I'm just so excited about getting into this food, okay? So, we talked about our squash. We took it out, and this is what the squash looked like, guys. This is what it looks like. It looks like what? Spaghetti. Look on the inside. As soon as you start to pull it, there it goes. When you take it out of the oven and you start to pull it, there it goes. That's why we call it spaghetti squash, because once you pull it, it comes out just like spaghetti. How quick and simple was that, okay? You only spent 40 minutes with it. You spent 40 minutes in the oven. You pulled it out. You added your sauce to it. You added your Beyond Beef. And voila, you have spaghetti and meatballs with a twist and our vodka sauce. Let's taste. I hope you're getting ready for it. One more time. Everybody say amen. Delicious. Hey guys, I told you we're back here in the Kidney Kafe, and I have with me Chef Melissa. Chef Melissa, welcome to the Kidney Kafe.
Thanks for having me.
So listen, Chef Melissa, now I want you to tell me all about what you're doing, what you're going to be cooking today, and also tell me a little bit about your business.
Okay, well, I am the chef for Comfort's Personal Chef Services.
Okay.
I do baked goods, meal prep, and catering for, you know, small gatherings. I can come into your house and cook for you if that's something you would like to have done for a private party, things of that nature. But right now, my majority of my clientele is meal prep and baked goods.
That's very good. So then tell me now, what are some of the things that you really, really, really think that you're really good at? So just in case Chef doesn't want to cook, and I say, let's get Chef Melissa over to cook a meal for me and my loved one, something like that.
Oh, I love cooking anything. It really doesn't matter. My business is called Comforts because I like comfort food. So any comfort food from any nationality personality. I like cooking, so I do teriyaki. I do a lot of Asian dishes.
Okay.
Mediterranean dishes.
Yes.
Thai food.
So how did you learn how to do all this?
I've been watching cooking shows with my mother since I was 4. I cooked with the old ladies downstairs at the church since I was 9. So cooking is in my blood, in my DNA. Everyone in my family cooks, from my grandfather, grandmother, everybody.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay, so tell me what you're gonna do today. Let's get busy.
Well, today we are making Tuscan salmon. It's one of my popular dishes on my meal prep. And it's gonna be served with a lemon garlic broccoli.
Okay, all right, get busy.
So we already have the broccoli steaming with a little bit of water, vegan butter, and juice of a half of a lemon. And we're pan searing our salmon right now. But what we're gonna focus on right now is this actual Tuscan sauce.
Okay, I'm excited about that.
Yes, it's delicious. So you're gonna start off in your pan with some olive oil. Always, olive oil is one of the best oils for you.
It's also a superfood, guys. Remember that.
And what we're gonna do is we're gonna saute your aromatics first.
Okay.
So your garlic and your onions. So you take a whole onion and you're gonna put it in a food processor. That'd be the fastest way instead of trying to chop it yourself.
Okay.
To break it down. And the recipe calls for sun-dried tomatoes. So what I do is I'll put a little bit of olive oil in my food processor and the sun-dried tomatoes with the onions to help it emulsify a little bit.
Okay.
But you want it a fine chop, but you don't want it like a puree.
Gotcha.
Okay. So we can put that in the pan. Turn this up a little bit. Messed it up again.
It's okay.
I'm gonna change this to this one. Okay. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
All right. So put that in the pan.
That looks amazing.
And to layer your flavors, you always want to salt each thing that you put in the pan. So some people think that that's going to end up being a salty dish, but it actually doesn't. If you use sea salt, it's not going to make your dish too salty.
Okay.
But salting each layer gives you layers of flavors in your dish, so
That's
it's
right.
not just one note.
That's right.
Okay, so put the onions and the sun-dried tomatoes, and if you don't like sun-dried tomatoes, you can substitute red bell peppers, and it'll give you the same coloring in your dish and that little bite. So you put the garlic in there as well. Turn this up a little bit more. All right, let this go.
This really smells good. So do we keep the salmon on?
Yeah, salmon's fine.
Okay, looks good.
You just we already did the flesh side. We're doing the skin side to crisp up the skin some.
Gotcha.
But some people like to eat the skin. I personally, I don't, but to each his own. So if that's what you like.
I don't eat the skin neither, but I do save it and I make a fish stock out of the skin. Okay.
After you cook with it, or you take the skin off before?
I take the skin off prior to.
Right. Okay. I was gonna say I never heard that one before. So then we're gonna add basil and Italian seasoning. Okay. We'll just keep stirring it so your garlic doesn't burn. Then we have paprika, red
Crushed
pepper flakes, and pepper. And the paprika is just really going to give you some coloring. Okay. And we have onion powder and garlic powder to amplify the flavors of the onion and garlic you already put in. And don't forget to add a little bit of salt.
There you go.
Thank you, sir. And as you start to see your onions starting to soften, you can add in your spinach, to wilt your spinach.
I love spinach.
Now, some people don't like spinach, and I know sometimes you can't have a lot of spinach if you have kidney disease. So you can also swap out, instead of using spinach, you can use arugula.
Arugula, absolutely.
Yeah. But keep in mind that arugula will give you a peppery taste. So if you are not fond of that, then I would say use a little less arugula than the amount of spinach that's in the recipe. And also you can reduce the amount of pepper that you add to your dish.
Okay, well, I see somebody did their homework, because the first thing I was going to jump in and say, most of the time in the Kidney Kafe kitchen, we use arugula. I got a bag I can pull out for you right now. All right, very good, Melissa. And this smells amazing. I can't wait to dig into this.
Yes. It's starting to look good. So you start seeing your spinach wilt, then you can add in your coconut milk. You're going to use a whole can of full-fat coconut milk. Coconut milk is good instead of using dairy, because
I'll take that.
the dairy has too many
Oh, that smells really good, and that looks good too.
yeah, the dairy has too many proteins and things that are not good for someone.
Yeah, we don't use dairy in the house.
Yep. Yeah, I don't use dairy either, so I do vegan butter, olive oil, or avocado oil is a good oil substitute. And then if you are allergic to coconut oil, or rather, I'm sorry, if you're allergic to coconut milk, you can use the evaporated almond milk. They sell that now in the Carnation brand. So you can use that instead of coconut milk if you have adverse reactions to coconut. And now that that's in there, we're going to add our Dijon mustard and stock.
That looks so good. So guys, you heard what she said. She said that she does meal prep, and this is part of one of the meals that she creates that she can come to your home with, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and then the last ingredient, which is the most important to me, is the nutritional yeast. Now, nutritional yeast is good for people who are dairy-free, because it has the B complex vitamins in it that milk normally has that your body needs. So it has B1, B2, B6, and B12
Okay.
in it. It does have potassium in it. However, the recommended serving size for it is 1/4 of a cup, and like in this recipe, you're not even using that much, and the sauce will be enough for 2 to 4 pieces of salmon.
Okay.
So you shouldn't really have to worry too much about using this and the potassium that's in this.
Very good.
But it lends a cheesy flavor, like a nutty cheesy flavor to your dishes. So anytime you have something that you want to give a cheesy flavor to and you don't want to use the dairy, you can use nutritional yeast. So some people will put it on their popcorn and things of that nature, or make a cheese sauce when they do vegan macaroni and cheese. Yeah.
So was that about 1/3 of a cup?
Yeah.
Okay.
Between a 1/4 and a 1/3. I don't really think it was a 1/3.
Okay.
I know I eyeballed it. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But you're just going to let that simmer until it thickens up a little bit. And then you'll be ready to plate. Just let it sit for about 5 or 10 minutes. Let it boil, simmer a little bit. And then you'll be ready.
All right. Well, guys, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have everything plated really nice, because what I want to do is it's time for the chef to taste this amazing dish. Not only does it smell good, but remember what we also talked about on the Kidney Kafe. We talked about protein, and you see here salmon is a great source of protein for you. Then she gave you the broccoli, which is always great. Broccoli's always good for you. And then she talked about the spinach, which, you know, we still use spinach on the Kidney Kafe, but we just use it sparingly. However, we always like to go to the arugula just so we can keep that in the mindset of the folks. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break and let Melissa go ahead and finish this. Then we have Ashley come in and plate it, and we come back, baby. It's going to be time for what? It's going to be time to eat. So we'll be right back in a couple of minutes. Hey guys, we're back here and this is the finale of the show. I'm so happy that Chef Melissa came in with her Tuscan salmon and her lemon broccoli. Melissa, tell us how the kidney community can get in touch with you if they want meal prep, if they want that comfort chef, if they want you to do personal services. Give them maybe your social media and your phone number, something of that nature.
Okay. I'm on Instagram. It's at Comforts Personal Chef. And then also on Facebook is at Comforts Food Services, and my phone number is 301-254-7471. But the best way to get in contact with me would be either Instagram or Facebook. I will get that quicker than a message on the phone.
So it's time for me to taste it, everyone, so don't get nervous, Melissa. It's just that I'm just getting a little bite. But I have to be honest because my people are trusting that I tell the truth. So we're going to taste this and see, will we have her back again and will we support her business? Melissa? Everybody say amen.
Amen.
Delicious.
Amen.
Absolutely delicious, Melissa. You did a wonderful job today, and my team cannot wait to dig into this Tuscan salmon and lemon broccoli. Melissa, you did a great job. Listen, all of you, I only tell the truth. You already knew it was going to be delicious. Why? Because I have her on the show. We don't play here in the Kidney Cafe, but we wanted you to see it firsthand. Check her out, her social media, and remember, pamper yourself. It's your duty. Why? Because you are worth it. See you next week, guys.
Welcome to the Kidney Cafe. I'm so glad you came to stay. Sit on down, make yourself at home. Welcome to the Kidney Cafe with Chef Benne.